please try and help me understand what's going on in Ukraine. Why is this maniacal bent to fund this crazy war continuing? And it's incredible. Obamacare, the lobbying for it wasn't nearly what it is for this. What's the underlying thing? There's no media in here, I hope.
We don't care if there are, right? We'll say this anywhere. Ukraine is a scab. When you pick it, the pus that runs out of there is going to be so ugly. There's something so dark and evil about. And let me tell you another thing. Like with President Trump, I had a ringside seat, so people can't tell me what happened. People can't tell me what the guy's like. People can't tell me in the small moments what he does and how he comports himself. They can't tell me because I saw it. I saw it under the worst pressure you could possibly see, like Billy Bush weekend, when he stands in the breach like an immovable object. I also saw as a junior officer, when I came off sea duty, of which I was on a destroyer, and our job as an ASW destroyer, a brand new class called the Spurns class, we had one mission. That mission was to hunt Soviet submarines. We were playing guard for carrier battle groups. Okay? 4 years of doing that. As a junior officer, Grundoon, then back to the Pentagon with the day Reagan arrived. And let me tell you what's very interesting. Jamie Raskin and all those people on MSNBC and all those people are sitting there going, the Russians are terrible, Putin's awful, this is war, we got to back NATO, we got to send troops, we have to send billions because it's for democracy. All of those people fought President Reagan and standing up to the Soviet Union. All of them. So ask the question, hang on for a second. You guys all supported the Bolsheviks. You fought us when we tried to put tactical nuclear weapons and Pershing missiles into Europe. You fought President Reagan every one. You tried to do Star Wars to break them. Every action he took to destroy the evil empire. Jamie Raskin's old man, who's a Soviet spy, right? All of them supported the Bolsheviks. So tell me what happened that now that Russia's the evil empire, that Russia's all terrible. Putin is from the KGB, and he's a very bad guy, and the people around him are very bad guys. But in World War II, every member of NATO was not our ally. We had the British trying to save their empire and very brave, fought side by side with us, okay? Then you had a couple of thousand with de Gaulle, a couple thousand more French resistance, all of Scandinavia on the side of the Nazis. My Ireland, neutral on the side of the Nazis. Spain, neutral on the side of the Nazis. The fascists in Italy, okay? Germany, most of Eastern Europe. Virtually every country in NATO today was not an ally. You know who died on the battlefield destroying the German army? The Russian people died on the battlefield. The Russian people and the Chinese Lao Beijing killed they lost 100 million people fighting the Imperial Japanese Army and then fighting the Nazis. Do you think Guadalcanal and Tarawa and Peleliu and those places were hellholes? What do you think it would have been if we'd had the first line of troops from the Imperial Japanese Army? The Chinese people took that on. The two greatest allies we've ever had in the history of this country that gave more blood and sacrifice as allies to the United States of America are now considered our greatest enemies. Why? The deep state abandoned them to their own plans, turned it back over to Stalin. By the way, we're sitting there with ally Stalin. He's as murderous as Hitler, and he was our ally, right? So what's so bad about Putin? If we had done what Trump wanted to do, and they fought him every step of the way, turn Russia to an ally like Nixon did with China, flip it, we wouldn't have this problem today. They want us in a world war. They want us in a world war. That's why when I said the last thing, they're demonic plans. These people are totally demonic. And the centerpiece of the demonology is in Ukraine. This is why there's something doesn't make any sense about this. Think about our politics. We're the greatest republic on earth. Since 2018 or 19, it's all been about the Ukraine. They impeached Trump for a perfect phone call. They're maniacally obsessed. There's not one person in that Democratic Party cares about the defense of the United States. They hate the United States. AOC and this crowd, you see the Addams family group that stands up at the microphone in the House and talking, do they care about the United States? Had they ever said about defending the United States? Had they ever had their kids go defend the United States? No, they hate the United States of America. And that's why they're obsessed by getting money to Ukraine. Under no circumstances, and there's not one logical argument for us to send a penny more because they're stealing it with both hands. And we've destroyed the Ukrainian people. Who's taking the brunt of this? Ukraine looks like Dresden in 1945. There may be 500,000 to 1 million casualties. Most of them, young women and children. The mothers and fathers are the ones that are saying you're not going to have the 500,000 new combat troops. They're sitting there saying you're not going to take my son or daughter and put it into the charnel house for the World Economic Forum, for Zelensky, and for the Biden regime.